Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Rohit and this is the day 5. In this fifth day, we'll talk about that how we can build our own inbound web services. The last few days we talk about that how we can use the directly table API or direct table access to do modification. But in our case, today we'll talk about that how we can build our own web services and we can through own web service, we can do the control on that web services. So I'll go first that the very basic web services called import set web services. If you see here that last in inbound integration, we talk about table API, which is REST method. We talk about the direct web services, which is SOAP method. These two are the table API. I mean, we don't have any direct control on them. We just, we just created our, we just generated the endpoint and provided them our customer, but we don't direct access on that. Okay, so today we'll talk about basically import set web services. So for the import set web services, we ServiceNow already provided some of the import set web services. I'll talk that little later, but very first I'll create my own import set and I'll show you that how we can do a lot of stuffs with that. So without wasting time, let's get started. In the ServiceNow, if you type that web services under this module, you will be able to see under this web services, we have a one sub module called inbound, which is a separator. Under this inbound, you can see that computer location, notification user. These are the already inbound they have created, out of box they have created. But today we'll first create our own inbound actions and own inbound integration web services, and then we'll discuss further. So first we'll click create new. So to understand that web services, first we have to understand that on which table we want to create a record. So let's assume that your customer provided you requirement that using the web services they want to create or they want to retrieve some record into that or whatever the requirement is that. So let's say that using that inbound web services they want to create a record into the change request table. For that we are going to build a web services. So let's say I'll put here the change underscore request table. So once I select the change underscore request table, you can see that create transform map checkbox is checked and copy field from the target table. This field is not checked. I'll check that. And here I need to provide that import set name. So or that web services name. So I'll put that change request. Once I put that, you can see there will be one u underscore change request. This will be a import set table. There will be import set table will be created and that will be the import set. Once I click create, it will be create a web services for me. So once I submit that, it takes some time because all these fields are there bringing, it is internally creating some transform map, all those stuffs. What I have to do now, I move to that transform map table and what they are saying that please create transform map. So all these things are already done. I just need to be submit that. Now if I click here again and you can see that if I refresh this module and type the web services again, and you will be able to see my API that I have created called change request. This is the web services that I have created. Now, if you see here in this web services change request, you can see this is my WSDL or that SOAP message endpoint, which I am going to use. And if I scroll down, all these change request fields are right now visible. Now, let's see that you don't need to, get all these details. You can delete some of the fields from there. So what does it mean by this one? I'll talk you further. Remember that what happens once we create that, it's generate a web services with the WSDL, and in the bottom we have a inside the transform map, and then we have a source table and target table. What does it mean by that? When we hit this endpoint through this any of this third party or any of this application, the data will be created to this table, the source table, and through the transform map, these data will be transformed to this target table. So this is the process of this whole integration. So if I open this transform map, and if there is any if there is no field matching, if you can see that field map, it's empty. We can click auto map matching, so it will be automatically create source field and target field, all these fields. So all these 77 fields are automatically created. Now whatever is needed for your case, you can define that. So this is the process, that how the data is transforming. So first, whenever you are hitting that endpoint, so I type again web services. Under this web services, you have a change request, this web service, and this web service have all these fields that is available under this change request. You can see the fields are visible here. Now on these fields, you have a one import set table called uChange request. This table, the data will be come to this table, and from this table, that using the transform map, this table will be transformed. So this is how the complete process. So let's first see that how the SOAP message is reacted on that, and then we'll go further. So if I copy this endpoint, this is my endpoint. Once you click directly hit, and it will be generate one XML file. So you can see, if you directly open this SOAP message, this is that it will be generate some XML file. And if you minimize those, let's say I'll open those, you can see get key response, get response, and then the get records. These are the method that we see in our SOAP UI. All these methods are available right now. So insert, update, record, update, response, delete multiple. These are all the methods are already available right now. So what we'll do, we'll open the SOAP message and hit this endpoint and see how it looks like. What we'll do, I'll open the SOAP UI. Once you open the SOAP UI, this is how the UI looks like in the SOAP UI. We already talked about, right? So we'll close all these tabs, and here we'll click that SOAP one. Once you click the SOAP one, it's asking for the SOAP WSDL. So I'll paste that SOAP WSDL here. So I'll probably paste the SOAP WSDL. So I'll copy this endpoint from here. This is my endpoint, and I'll come here and paste this SOAP WSDL here. Once I put that, the name is automatically generated as per our previous discussion. You can rename that. So we'll say that change request, so in better form, and click OK. So once we click OK, it will be asked for username and password. Now I have to put that service account username password that I have created in previous sessions or previous class. So I'll go back my user and put that username and password. So once you put this username password, all this method related to this change request will be created. The way we discuss about that our table API, the same way these are the methods it's created, and it can create, update the record. So let's open this one of this insert record, and once you click the request, you will be able to see the fields are available here. So you can see all these fields are available, and in this top it is saying that optional. It means that those fields are optional, definitely. Now coming back to our here, you can see these fields is started from the active, and we have till change model. So if I go back here, so there are all these fields are available right now. Now we can, all these custom fields, everything is available right now. We can send a request, and using the request, we can create a record. So let's say I will put that assignment group equal. So if I go here, do we have assignment group? So I will remove this assignment group and assign to from here, so that whenever this SOAP message will be automatically generated, this field SOAP assignment group and assign to should not populated by default. So this method or these things should not be pre-populated automatically. So let's do that. So I'll just remove that assignment group and assign to and click update. Now we can see this assignment group and assign to is no more available in our case. Now what I'll do, I'll go back to the SOAP message again and create a one more SOAP request. So I'll delete that one and create a new SOAP message here. And then this case again, I'll put the endpoint. So I'll go back here and then copy the endpoint. And if I open this request method, and now you can see this assignment group is no more available. So basically, if you want to bypass certain field, you can definitely go and remove those fields from here. So this is the how it way. You can see that right now 95 fields is present here. So whatever fields is you feel that unnecessary, you can delete that. So our case, I feel that some of the fields are unnecessary, I'll delete those fields. So this way you can reduce your SOAP message, this pre-populated template. You can remove those pre-populated template length. So definitely, and if they pass any of this value, it will be simply ignore that. So all these fields may be updated or whatever is updated. Now what I'll do, I'll try to create a record and see that it is working fine or not first. In this case, first I'll search with the short description and description. These two information I'll put that. So let's say short description, I'll put that change request using SOAP. This is the short description, and I will search the description also. And let's see if I find out the description or not. So probably whatever fields we have find out and click the send button. Once we click the send button, as expected, it will give me an error because we have not put any credential inside this here. So we need to be put credential here. I'll click the properties here, and if we see here username and password, I need to put again. This is the username and this is the password. I have to pass the password. So let's go back and check that password. Once we pull all this information, once we click the send, it should create a change request. Let's try. And if I go to this XML, it's saying that insufficient right to create a new record because I don't have any right to create a change request probably. So if I go back to this one and go back to my user table, I need to give that some role. So in this integration admin, because we are doing or we are dealing with that import set, right? So the data is coming and creating to this import set. So what I'll say that import set admin, I'll add this import set admin role. And let's try one more time. And if I see the XML, now you can see it is kind of creating that data, but it's have an error called executing business rule called calendar total delivery time. So there is some business rule which is restricting us. Let's check that here, calendar time. I'll remove this one and see if, so we need to be put the state somewhere. So let's see the state, we have state field. Find next state, use state. So we need to be put, remove this state value here and hit. So you can see we are getting a lot of issue due to this question mark, right? So whenever you are building that web services, make sure that you have proper all these related fields you have added to your web services tab, so that whenever by default the fields are getting generated, it should not generate that unnecessary field. So in this case, that it is creating some problem. So how can we overcome this situation that there are a lot of fields are getting pre-populated for that? So how can we overcome that? To overcome that, simple, let's say I want to create a problem records. For that, we'll type that web services here. Under this web services, I'm going to create a record called problem. And on this problem, you can see we are going to select the target table called problem. And then in this problem, we are not going to check this checkbox. Okay, so if you select this checkbox, all these fields which is present to the problem record will be came up here. And in this your import set also it will be create those fields. So what I am going to do that I am not going to create any field, unnecessary field. I will open the problem field, and whatever fields I actually needed, those fields I'll create that. Let's say short description and description. These two fields I am going to create that through through this over this process. Okay, so problem statement and then description, these two fields, and then configuration item. These three fields I'll deal with that. So I'll say that problem statement, one field. Another field is that we are going to say the description, and then next is the configuration item. These are the fields I am going to create that. These are the field I am going to deal with that. Okay, and once we click the create, basically these three fields will be created to this import set. So as I mentioned that, so once we click the create button, this create web service will generate a import set, and the import set table will have these three fields only. So I'll click that create. Once I click the create, and it will land me to that table transform map. I'll submit that, nothing else. Now I will type web services, refresh one more time this tab, and type web services. Under this web service, I should have a field called problem. And in this problem, you can see these three fields are present. And if I open, this is also, it's created another import set table. So if I open this problem table, this problem table have only these three fields that I am expecting. Apart from that, all this import set related table is there. So basically, if you check this copy field from target, all these fields present to the problem table will be created as import set table in the import set table, and then there will be pre-populated this, and then in the whole thing, all these whole things will be pre-populated. Okay, so for avoid that, you just uncheck that. If you need all this field, definitely go for this checkbox. Now I'll open this problem transform map and auto match so that all these fields can be matched. So I'll click auto field map. So these three fields that we have created will be automatically mapped right now. So now what we'll do, I'll use this endpoint, and using the endpoint, let's create a record and see how it is working. So I'll copy this endpoint. Even if you open this endpoint, the XML that will be generated for insert event, that will be little small. Let's see that. For insert, you can see this three field along with this two field which is outer box fields. Okay, it's generated. Now I'll copy this endpoint, and here I will click that SOAP request, and then here I'll put that, and let's say put that problem record and click OK, put the credential. The only challenge here is that we need to put the credential again and again. That's very irritating. So that's fine. So this is how it's an old method. So now if we see here in this problem record, we have, it is created certain fields. So let's see if I open this insert method. And in this insert method, we have three fields. One is the problem statement, description, and configuration item. So let's say problem statement, I'll say that in this way we avoid the unnecessary fields. And then again in the problem statement, what we'll say that let's say new problem from SOAP UI. And in these descriptions, I will put the same thing, and last I'll say the description. Okay. Now what we'll do, I'll put the username password here. Once we put this information, let's hit to that run method. click the XML, it will be generate a problem, and this is the problem number. We'll search with that problem number. And we are able to create that. But there is one issue, that configuration item, that we don't remove that part. So that's the reason it's coming with the question mark. So that's fine. Rest all are good, I guess. We can do a validation kind of thing. So let's see how can we do the validation. So if we go back to the web services, under this web services, we have a problem. This is the problem. And before I go back to the validation, if you see here, this problem, if I open this import set table, there also will be one record which is created. So this is the record which is created to this u_problem table. From this table, using the transform map, the data is transformed. So if you see that import sets, under this import set, there was import set, and through this import set, the data transform actually. Okay. So this way how it's work actually using these web services. Now we want to make this problem to be mandatory. Problem statements to this configuration ID to be mandatory. So I'll configure dictionary and then mark is mandatory from this import set table. So let's do that, and let's see what happens. So these fields are mandatory right now on this import set table. Previously, if I open this SOAP message, under this SOAP message, you can see that the configuration item on the top, it was showing that not a mandatory or something like that, optional field. Now let's see how react that. Okay, so I'll click the SOAP message again and put this endpoint. I'll go back and copy this endpoint and put here problem new and click OK. And if we open the insert method, you can see that little difference. On before that configuration item, there was no optional parameter. So before that configuration item, there is no optional parameter is showing. So now if we remove that one and just try to send that, and let's see what happened. So very first thing you can see, although it was saying that it's not a optional here, but if we don't pass that, system is accepting and it is creating a record. To avoid this situation, you can go ahead and write the script into this transform map. So we'll discuss this further in our next sessions, but in this transform map, you can select the run script, and using the run script, you can do the validation. If this field is not there, we can ignore that. These things we can do that. Now, our next sessions we'll talk about this one. That's it for today. Thank you guys. If you have any question, let me know in my comment sections. Till the time, like, share and subscribe my channel. Thank you very much.